Good evening, dear listeners. I, Alexian, am delighted to welcome you to my Library of Wonders. Today, I will tell you a tale of friendship and courage, about how even the smallest creatures can save an entire world. But remember, this is no ordinary library, and my story will come to life as if by magic. Let's take my magical compass, which will open the path to the tale, and embark on this beautiful and educational journey together. In a distant and wondrous forest, where trees whispered their ancient stories and streams sang melodious songs, lived two best friends, Hedgehog and Bunny. Hedgehog was small but very brave, with quills that sparkled in the sun like tiny stars. Bunny, on the other hand, was quick and agile, with soft white fur and long ears that were always alert. One day, as the forest was just waking from its winter slumber, the friends noticed something amiss. The leaves on the trees began to wither, flowers refused to bloom, and streams became shallow and quiet. The forest dwellers were worried, and anxiety hung in the air. Hedgehog and Bunny decided to find out what was happening. They went to see the wise owl who lived atop the tallest pine tree. When they entered his cozy home, Owl greeted them with a kind smile. "Hello, my young friends," said Owl, adjusting his glasses. "What brings you to me at such an early hour?" "Wise Owl," began Hedgehog, "something is wrong in our forest. The leaves are withering and the flowers won't bloom. We've come for advice." Owl nodded thoughtfully. "I know what you speak of. It's the work of an evil witch who wants to seize all the natural magic. She has cursed the forest, and now it is slowly fading." "What should we do?" asked Bunny, nervously twitching his ears. "You must find her lair and break the spell," replied Owl. "But be careful. The witch is cunning and dangerous. Act together, and your friendship will be your strength." Thanking Owl for his advice, the friends set off on their journey. Their adventure began in a dense forest where the trees stood so close together that sunlight barely pierced through the foliage. The first obstacle they encountered was a raging river. The bridge that usually helped them cross was destroyed. Bunny, looking at the swirling water, said, "How will we get to the other side?" Hedgehog thought for a moment and then suggested, "Let's gather branches and build a raft. Together we can do it." Gathering enough branches and tying them with vines, the friends built a small raft. With Bunny's agility and Hedgehog's ingenuity, they successfully crossed the river. The next challenge was a dark cave through which their path lay. Inside, it was so dark that they couldn't see their own paws. "I'm scared," admitted Bunny, trembling. "Don't worry," reassured Hedgehog. "I'll be right here. Let's hold paws and go together." Holding paws, they slowly made their way forward until they saw light at the end of the cave. Emerging into the light, they felt their fear fade away. The final obstacle was a thick fog that enveloped the forest. Visibility was almost zero, and the friends could easily get lost. "How will we find our way?" asked Bunny, trying to see anything ahead. "We must trust our instincts and stick together," replied Hedgehog. "I'm sure we'll find the way." Relying on the sounds of the forest and supporting each other, they slowly but surely moved forward until the fog began to clear, revealing the path to the witch's lair. When they finally reached the witch's lair, she greeted them with a sneer. "What are these tiny creatures daring to disturb me?" hissed the witch, looking down at them. "We've come to free our forest," declared Hedgehog bravely, curling into a ball. "You think you can defeat me?" laughed the witch. "I'll cast a spell on you, and you'll become my servants." But Bunny, hopping around her, distracted her attention. "You can't stop us!" he shouted, dodging her spells. Meanwhile, Hedgehog sneaked over to her magical book and found the right spell. "Bunny, I've found it," he called out. They recited the spell aloud, and the forest trembled. The dark enchantments began to dissipate, and the witch, losing her power, vanished in a puff of smoke. The forest dwellers joyfully welcomed their heroes. Hedgehog and Bunny became symbols of friendship and courage, showing everyone that even the smallest can accomplish great deeds when they work together. And so this tale ends. It's time to activate the compass and return to the Library of Wonders. But before we say goodbye, I want to ask you a few questions. Think about how friendship and cooperation can help you achieve your goals. What challenges are you ready to overcome with your friends? Thank you for joining me on this magical journey. I hope it brought you as much joy and inspiration as it did me. Until next time, my dear listeners, I eagerly await our next adventure.